All right, welcome back everyone. This is Mr. Oberst. Today I'm going to have a lesson that continues with the whole graphic art theme. And as you can see around me, I love movie posters. So I thought what it would be kind of neat is to show you how to make a cool movie poster. And what's cool about all these sites that I've been going on is it's quite amazing how I've been using software throughout the years, a lot of Adobe, I've worked with Photoshop and Premiere to make movies. There's a lot of free stuff online. So I'm discovering some things that are pretty cool. So for instance, I'm going to be showing you how to make a movie poster with a completely free online tool. So once again, it's always going into a Google search engine. And what we're going to do is we're going to type in our search of simply one word, postermaker.com. Now, as soon as you get into this site, what I've noticed is that they have random examples of posters off to the side here. So what we're going to do is we're going to be making one completely from scratch. But if you notice, if I just come up here to refresh, if I click on refresh, it actually changes the poster. So if I hit refresh again, it's going to give me another poster and so on and so forth. So every time you go into this site, it's going to show different posters. So whatever I have right now as an example will look probably different with your movie poster. So I just need to check every once in a while to make sure that my screen capture is getting in there. Now, what I'm also going to show you is in this area right here, it's actually blank right now, but a lot of times these ads pop up. I want to see if an ad pops up here at any point. Here, let's see if we can go to a new one, because these ads that pop up are quite annoying. Maybe it's because I got rid of mine and it doesn't show up anymore. But if you do have an ad that shows up here, all you really need to do is click X to get rid of it, and then just say that this ad you're not interested in, so it'll just stop showing you those ads. However, if you just scroll down to this area, anyways, this is the only area that really needs to apply to is your taskbar up here and then your actual work area. All right. So once again, they give you examples. So for instance, if I just clicked on this word summer right off the bat, you can see I can start moving this around, but we're going to be making something from scratch. And I kind of gave you the example on the Google Classroom of the movie poster that I made, and I'm going to make that one again to show you how I went about doing it. Now, the very first thing we're going to do is get rid of this particular poster. So if you come up here to File, we're going to click on New Poster. So you have not saved your poster yet. Continue, yes, because we are making a brand new poster. Now, continuing on over to the right, it says Canvas. Now, when you click on that, it's going to have a drop down. Now, this background will come in handy later, but we're not going to put a background in just yet because we're going to get our size and we're going to get our text in there. And we are going to pick a size of 1080 by 1920. The reason why I like that size is because the example posters that I also show in the Google Classroom is, and a lot of posters that I have behind me are these types of posters. So for instance, Harry Potter, has this nice long look like this. Lord of the Rings, nice long look like this. So that's a typical look of a movie poster. So what I think I'll do for this lesson is just bring up this particular Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone poster that I actually have up on the wall over there as well. It's a good example as a template for me, especially how most movies have, this journey beyond your imagination, and then the actual movie title here, and then obviously all the tiny little credits at the bottom. So I'm just going to minimize that and refer to that while I do this lesson. So we have this completely and total blank canvas. Now what you'll notice is that it's quite large. So in the top right, if you know how to shrink your window on the internet, that does help. So for instance, over here, you can see I've got 100%. If I keep clicking on the minus, when I get down to 33, it actually will show the completed movie poster. So if you look at my completed movie poster with the COVID-19, you can see that it's quite long here, and it shows that dimension, and it makes for a much better resolution. So for instance, if I increase this, you can see the resolution is really, really good, and I'll show you how to save it with that good resolution later in this lesson. Okay, so let's get back to the original size. Well, somewhat. I'm going to go to maybe 80%. Now what I like to do is I like to start setting up my text. So what we're going to do is you're going to notice that you have this T. So we're just going to click on that T right now, and there's two types of text styles. There's the straight across or the curved. I'm not a big fan of the curved one, so I'm just going to go right into the text. Now this is where we're going to put in our text. Now I'm not a big fan of any lowercase when I make a movie poster, so I would just put my caps lock on the keyboard, and then I would just type in my title of the movie. So COVID-19, and this is just like a spoof. It's a parody, nothing scary about this. Now below that we're going to choose our color. So I'm going to pick a color of red. So as soon as you click on this area right in here, you can choose all your different colors. So you can see you can pick purples and blues and greens and yellows. So I'm going to pick in the red area. Keep the background opaque or transparent, which means we won't see anything behind, or we'll see the background behind the letters. Now right here in the font, you'll notice that there are some pretty cool fonts here that are included in the site. So I really like these ones, but then below that it goes into the regular Google fonts. There's some cool fonts in here as well, but I'm a big fan of the ones that they include here. So I really like this boycott one for the title of the movie. And then right to the side here it says select, so make sure you click select. If you like that one, you can click on the heart so you can remember what you chose before. So click select, and you'll see that it changes it over here. Now you can manipulate the size here, but once you're actually editing in the movie poster, you can start playing around with the size as well. So I'm just going to put it up to there for now. I like to click on center. We can play around with the bold if we want, but that kind of takes away from it. Letter spacing, you can make them a little bit wider if you want. And then there's something called a stroke. So if you click on here and you maybe make it a dark color, if you come here with the width, you can see that it kind of outlines the word as well a little bit. We don't want it too thick, so maybe right to there. And then there's something in the backdrop too, where we can choose some kind of a backdrop color if we want. Maybe pick like this kind of pinkish color, and you can see that it changes a little bit of the style, where it looks like there's almost like a little bit of a shadow on there. So I'm just going to stop right there and click close, and you can see now that there is our title. And once again, we can manipulate it. Now this is where this next feature I'm going to show you is going to be important. It is right next to the canvas. It's called a grid. Now when you click on the grid, if you click on 25 by 25 or on 50 by 50, you see that there's squares. That is very important for you to be spacing your words out and your images, because if you are a graphic artist and you are making posters, you do need it to look like it's in the right spot and it's aligned. It's just not randomly scattered. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just start off by putting in 100 by 100. And then I'm going to go and shrink my page a little bit again so I can get roughly the size of my movie poster. Now I can make this title and start manipulating the size and the space of it. Now a neat feature here too is if you grab this one circle, you can bring it up and you can make it like nice and long. This one right here is for you to pivot it, but I'm not going to pivot. I'm going to make it pretty straight. Actually, it's kind of hard to put it back. There we go. So I like the placement of that title, and then I'm going to come up here and bring it back up to size a little bit more. Okay. Now another feature I want you to notice is when you click on the word, you can eyeball where to go, but I would trust the alignment a little bit more. So if you come up here, there's a little thing right here, the second last one from the right. When you click on alignment, when you click on center horizontally, you'll notice that it moves just a little bit. Now it's centered horizontally. I wouldn't center it vertically because that puts it right in the middle of your poster, and we placed it right here. We just want to center it in this area right here. So now we have that text. If you notice with movies, there's usually, let me bring the Harry Potter one again. There's a title and then there's like a subtitle. So this is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So what I'm going to do is just call this COVID-19 the movie. So I'm going to come here and press text again, click on text, and I'm going to keep that caps lock again and just call this the movie. Now the font is going to be the same color. I'm going to keep it kind of with the red theme. But the font down here, usually have a bit of a different font. So we're not going to pick the boycott again. We're going to be picking, at least for the example, I chose the this font here called Faster One. So when you click on that and click on select, it changes the style there again. We can play around with the size again, but we can change it a little bit later. But we're just going to do that. We can play around with the strokes and the backdrops if you want. I'm going to keep it pretty simple because it's a subtitle. And I'm just going to click and drag it and move it into the area that I want it in. And it is a subtitle, so it should be a bit smaller. Come up here to center horizontally, and it just puts it centrally. So now we have the subtitle. Now, as I mentioned before, with a lot of movies, they have this kind of, journey beyond your imagination. So I decided for my movie, for the COVID-19, just kind of made the parody of they just wanted everything back to normal. So we're going to use that text at the top. So click on T again. And they just wanted everything back to normal. Now in the original, I didn't do ... but let's put a ... That's always kind of a neat thing to do. I'm going to keep this consistent theme of red. I'm going to come here and do a different font again. Keep it a little bit more simple. So I chose this Keep Calm one and select and then close. Now I'm going to show you later on how we can make, we can put a little bit more of a shadow in here, but we're going to do that after we choose our background. So we're going to pick this font, place it maybe somewhere at the top like that. Always put that center horizontally so it's kind of in the right spot in the center. And then we have that. So we can come here and shrink it down to that size to see, okay, that looks good. Now the next part takes a bit of time. I'm not going to put too much time on the text here because that'll take too much time on the video. You're going to have some fun with this. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it started at the bottom of the movie poster, because if you notice movie posters, they have all this tiny font here. So if I was to bring this up right now, you can see that they have, Warner Brothers Pictures Presents. They have all the different production companies, the director, the producer, the songwriter for the movie score, and all the actors. You can have some fun with that. So you can see in my example, what I did was I put, Otter Pictures Presents, a board at home missing school production, a Mr. Ober's film, COVID-19 the movie, starring blah, 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 and then and I'll show you how we can put this PG-13 and all that stuff on there afterwards. All right, so let's just put a little bit of text at the bottom here. So I might just put at the bottom here, Otter Pictures Presents. You can do that one red again. Pick the simple font. And one thing I do want to show you is you notice there's no example up here because I always put it at the top. So when you press close, you see it's already at the top here. So what you would need to probably do is if you want to see it as you're editing, you'd have to grab it and bring it towards the bottom, and then you can start your editing. Now this is way too big. So what you're going to do is you're going to shrink it down, and that's when you're going to align it again, and then just kind of decide how big you want to make this or how small. So I'll just put Otter Pictures Presents, and then I'll just put maybe starring blah, blah, blah for now. Make this red. Choose our font. And then close. And once again, it's not there because it's up here. So we'll just move this down and shrink it once again. Oops. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to mention. If you drag that little point, sometimes it just disappears. It's a bit of a flaw. It's free online, so you're always going to get flaws. It shows up back here, but you can't grab it again. So what you need to do is just do an undo. And, oops, what happened to it? Maybe a redo. Oh, that was the problem with making these videos, and then an error happens. So let's do that again. So that's why it's probably the best to, like, after you, so let's just put here, so starring blah, blah, blah. Make that red. Select. And then you're going to drag this down. Now also, that's the other thing. When you drag it down, it won't move for you. So you bring it to where you see it, scroll down, bring it down here. So once again, I wouldn't drag this little arrow because that might make it disappear again for some reason. So in the bottom left, you can see it says edit text. So when you click edit text, this is where in the size area, you can bring it down to the size you want and then close, and then you can place it in that area. Like I said before, I'm not going to spend too much time with putting too much in here. You can see on the example that I do have more details, but what I do want to show you is once again this alignment guideline. As soon as I press 75 by 75, 50 by 50, you're going to see more squares. Now this comes in handy, especially when you have smaller letters like this. So if I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. So if you have smaller letters, it makes it easier to place everything. So you can see, okay, that's going to be right on that square. And that's going to be right on that square line. And then I can just always do the center horizontally, and then it fits a little bit better. So you can see with the sizing again, that it's smaller, and there you have your text. Now we are ready, after we put in the text, we are going to do the background. So I'm going to probably stay in this small area because we're going to be creating our background. So you can see everything in there. Now actually let me make this bigger so you can actually see the taskbar. So if you come up here, you'll see where it says canvas. If you click on that, it's back to that size that I showed you before, but at the very top it says background. Now this site has so many cool backgrounds. So in the library that shows up right off the bat, you see that it goes to abstract. These are all the abstract examples. But if you click on there, you can see you've got all of these different backgrounds. So if you come here, let's say you want to make, something with in the city, so you can pick different parts of the city. And if you want to make this look like it's in New York, you click on the New York. You can choose exactly where you want it. So if let's say you want Statue of Liberty on it. So when you press apply, you'll see now that the Statue of Liberty appears on your background for COVID-19, the movie. And that grid that's in there, we can probably get rid of that right now because we're done with the text. So we just shut off. And then you can see with the full size, that is what your background would look like. Okay, so you can have some fun with the different examples they have. Or what I did is with my background, and by the way, you can pick different colors, gradients. Pixabay is actually kind of neat. You can type in a search and it gives you some examples. So if you, let's say you want the background to be animals, type in animals, search, it's going to give you some different animals, and they're all in HD. So it's like really good resolution. But what I did is I just went to my library abstract. And the background I chose was, what did I choose again? Now look at my example. Oh yeah, I chose that kind of light one. So I chose this one right here, and then I just pressed apply, and now I have that background in my movie poster. Okay, now you can play around with those backgrounds, see what you like. Once you do like it, keep it in there. And then what I'm going to do is show you how I put in some images. So if you come up here, and it says ornaments and images. If you click on that arrow, it gives you some different images and overlays that you can put on there. You can play around with that. I'm not going to spend too much on this video, but what I am going to do is I'm going to show you with the upload image. It says you can drag an image here or browse. Now I just went online, found some pictures. You guys know how to do that. And I just found some pictures of like an empty street. I found a picture of empty playground, empty supermarket. And then you just click and drag it into that area. And then what I did, and this is very, very important, is when you put an image in a graphic, you don't want to have those hard edges, like a real, contrasted edge right here against your background. You want to have something called a soft edge. So if you drag this over, it doesn't show it in the example, but it will show in the poster. You drag it over. I like to have almost like to max, so somewhere in this 90 to 100 area, and then you click apply, and then your image is going to appear in your poster. Now you are going to position it, you are going to size it, but what I do want you to notice is that edge again. So if you notice, if I come over to the word the movie, that edge is nice and soft, so it's not like a hard edge. So I'm going to bring this down, shrink it a bit. And you can see that I'm going to place that there because in my example, I have it kind of in this area, and then I plopped my supermarket and my empty street scene in there as well. So as you can see, we have all those different images with the text in the background. Now, if you go on Google and you just type in PG-13 graphic, or probably just PG-13 would be good enough. If you just put on images, you will find like all the different PG-13 examples. Now, if you do PG-13 red, just type in red, you can get that PG-13 in red. And I just chose this one here. I saved it. And then I just uploaded that image. I put that PG-13 in that area. This one here, I can soften up the edge again, apply it. And when you apply it, sometimes you might look and go, oh, where's my picture? Once again, bring it up to the top and you'll see it's in there, and it's huge. So we need to make sure that that PG-13 is small. Because if you look at movie posters, that PG-13 or the rating, and hopefully you guys aren't watching anything worse than PG-13, so they can place it like that. So let's look at the Harry Potter one, see how big it is. Oh, they don't even have a rating. If I went to Lord of the Rings, you can see there's the PG-13 at the bottom right here. Okay. Now we have pretty much everything that you need to know how to make this poster. But like I said before, there's one more thing we're going to do just to this text up here. So unfortunately, when you shrink the page, the taskbar shrinks too, so it's hard to see what features there are. So we're going to bring this up to 100%. And I want you to notice this symbol right here. Now, if you go across a taskbar and you see that little line going through like that, you can't do anything. It's because you have nothing highlighted in that area. So if I want to put that effect on this one, you need to click on it. It's now highlighted. Now we can use this. So this is called a drop shadow. And what I want you to notice is as I move these dials here, notice how it changes with the letters. So if I'm going to move this to the right, you can see, oh, there's a bit of a shadow cast there. If I move to the left, there's a shadow cast there. So you can move it to wherever you want. And then this one here is going to make it go up or down. So we can go like that. And then this one here just softens that edge again. So it makes it look like it glows. So I wouldn't bring that up too much, probably to there. And then if you come over to the far left, this is where you can actually choose your colors. So if you want to have that shadow to be dark, you can click any one of these colors in here, and it just changes the colors like so. All right. Now that you have your poster and you can look at it, bring it down to size, you can see that, oh, this is my poster and I love this and I now want to have an awesome copy of this. This site is also fantastic in that it gives you a high resolution of posters. So if you come over here to File and you scroll down, don't save as a JPEG because that quality won't be good. I want you to come here and save in high resolution HD. So I want you to click on that one. And now what's going to do, it's going to just create an HD version of your poster. And as soon as that bar is done, it says My Poster and Download. Name it, whatever your poster is. So you can call this movie poster, and then whatever you called your movie. And also in the lesson in Google Classroom, I'm going to put a little bit more detail on what I'm expecting for you to do with the poster. Like, for example, come up with your own idea and maybe do a parody of it. So we'll just call this movie poster practice. And then click on download. As soon as you click download, it's going to ask where you want to put it. So I'm going to put it in my movie poster lesson next to the other one I made. Click save. And it's just going to load up down here. And when you go into that folder, you can open it up and see your movie poster. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. And yeah. Have some fun with all these things that you can do online for free. It just fascinates me how you can do so many things for free. So I'm glad you guys joined me today, and keep being creative, keep being artistic, and I can't wait to see your movie posters.